Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, August 22nd. So the moon is in Aquarius. Of course, we're having our full moon in Aquarius peak at 9:03 a.m. this morning. That is when the energy is direct. That is when it's most potent. That is when you should be out doing your full moon ritual. Of course, if you can't do it when it's at its peak energy the night before or even later on today will be an ideal time for you to still tap into that particular full moon energy. We will be moving out of that Aquarian energy though and moving into Pisces. We have to remember that this full moon in Aquarius is taking place at the critical degree of 29 degrees, meaning that we only have about an hour and then the moon is going void, of course, and we'll be locking into Piscean energy 9:43 a.m. again, Atlantic Standard Time. Anytime, even if it wasn't a full moon, anytime we move out of Aquarian energy, which is very light, very intellectual, very cerebral, it's all about independence and freedom and emotional detachment. We feel the energy shift when we jump into Piscean energy. Piscean energy is a water sign, as the moon is, very deep, very intuitive, very emotional. We get hypersensitive because we can pick up on all energies inside of us, around us, and from other people. It is when we are flooded with all kinds of different emotions, when we want to retreat from our physical realms to move inward into our imagination, into La La Land, where we can kind of escape the roles and responsibilities of our physical lives to float away and dream of the reality in which we are looking to manifest. The fact that this is a full moon energy still, when the moon moves into Pisces, we have this full moon window lasting for a couple of days after the moon actually peaks. We have to expect that there is going to be an overwhelming intensity when it comes to our inner worlds. There's going to be a lot of feels come up. It could go from 0 to 60, even less than 60 seconds, and then back again. We are going to be strongly connected to our intuition, having new insights be downloaded to us. And like I said, we just kind of want to retreat from the world. It is all the way on blast with this full moon energy truly peaking, and we're going to have a highly stimulated day. There are 10 different aspects taking place throughout the cosmos today, 7 of them being about the moon. Prior to the moon even going full, we have a lot of aspects that are building up towards the intensity that I definitely break down in the moon guide. If you haven't downloaded your moon guide, if you haven't even listened to the full moon in Aquarius cosmic event, I would definitely recommend you do both of those. Right out of the gate, we have Mars, who is in Virgo, making a very harmonious aspect with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who of course is retrograde in Aquarian energy. We have to consider the fact that Mars, as you know, very frustrated in this Virgo energy because he just wants to take action, make moves, and think about the consequences later. And of course, we can't do that in Virgo energy. We have to think things through. We have to be calculated. We have to be strategic. We only want to take action and make moves when it makes sense to the linear, logical plan that we're concocting in our mental plane. Mars and Saturn kind of team up here and recognize where it is that we are bossing up, that we have learned some very serious life lessons, and that it is okay when our mind and our heart agree to take action and make moves that validate our experience. There is a little bit of a coming together between Mars, who is the god of war, and Saturn, who is the lord of karma, who's recognizing that we are willing to boss up to the new roles and responsibilities required of us as we pursue these new dreams, these new desires, this new vision that we are 100% manifesting in our physical realities. Mars also trines Uranus. Trine is a good aspect. It's a very positive aspect. And what the big deal is here is that Uranus just went retrograde in Taurus, joining the other major heavy hitting planets in a retrograde, and is the ruler over the full moon in Aquarius. So this is a very powerful energy. This is a powerful jolt of energy that is making us see where new insights, new paths forwards, new actions are now available for us to take that we didn't even think were possible even a week ago. Mars in Virgo, of course, wants to root in and really solidify the actions that we're taking. And because Uranian energy is that shock, is that awe, is this great awakener who is now pushing the energy inside of us to see where it is that we're having these aha moments, we are going to be divinely encouraged to take action, make a move, especially with sharing the new insight, the new ideas, the new vision and dream that we are now holding for ourselves. This is also a little bit, although it is a positive aspect, there's a little bit of caution here because Mars is very impulsive. You don't need to talk a lot of fluff to Mars in order to get him to do something. And Uranian energy is like a wild card energy. There could be change in thinking that makes us want to act out, that of course Mars is totally going to be down for. Because this is a full moon window, we're not really focused on taking action. We are more focused on releasing, like letting go of, surrendering to what is no longer working for us. And if we're given an opportunity to take an action and make a move to create more distance away from the old timeline and jump more into the new, then Mars in Virgo is absolutely going to allow us to do that. As long as it's calculated, well thought out, and very strategic in the grand plan that we have in pushing ourselves forward into these new realities. We have the moon conjunct Jupiter, who is retrograde in Aquarius, for this full moon event. And I go into depths about this in the full moon in Aquarius cosmic event in the August forecast that you can take a listen to. And download your moon guide. We go through every single aspect and how it's going to affect the collective and your own individual life. But basically, Jupiter is putting a magnifying glass on whatever thoughts, whatever visions, whatever emotions we are having to surrender to detach from in order for us to cut the cord between the old and the new, for us to have a brand new space to actually create some of the elements that we now feel more drawn to pursuing. Jupiter wants to illuminate for us where it is that we need to be optimistic, where it is that we need to be positive, where it is that we need to be confident that things are going to work out, and they're going to work out better than what it is that we've ever imagined that they could work out in. We have to understand that even though the full moon is about releasing, Jupiter wants us to focus on what it is we're making space for. This is a huge amplification of energy, especially being in an accelerated window of manifesting, where whatever it is that we're focused on, of course, letting go of the old to create a space for the new, we are going to see the pieces come together very quickly, with grace, with ease, in our physical realities. So we also have this aspect with Chiron, which is the wounded healer planetoid, which is going to illuminate the wounds that we have been carrying that are no longer doing us any justice, no longer doing us any good. And for the most part, this is illuminating the fears, the insecurities, and the vulnerabilities that we have told ourselves that we have kind of integrated in our ego identity that are creating blocks and challenges for us to move forward, to detach from the past, from the experience of the past, from the pain of the past, wholeheartedly. And so we do have to be illuminated to the not so nice things under a full moon, the darker parts of us, the shadow parts of us, in order for us to recognize that they are no longer serving us. And then once we can acknowledge them, once we can have a full awareness that they've been floating around in our unconscious just below the surface, influencing our narrative, influencing our behavior, once we illuminate them, we can accept them, acknowledge them, and release them. We have this opposition taking place with the sun, of course, because that's what a full moon is. The full moon in Aquarius is at a 29 degree, and of course, on the axis, with the Leo energy at a 29 degree. As you know, we've been moving through Leo season, really having a full illumination of our heart space, what it is that we are passionate about, what it is that we love, where it is that we need to take a risk, where it is that we need to follow our hearts in creating a new reality that is more in alignment to what it is that we want, we need, we desire, versus what it is that we have been doing, which honestly is letting other people's opinions of us steer our direction. This doesn't mean that we are being selfish. This means that we have a new understanding that when we honor ourselves, when we follow our hearts, when we align with our soul's mission, our soul's purpose, and we fill our own cup up, then we can contribute to the greater, grander collective in a better way. We can't go out and save the world until we save ourselves. We have to understand that honoring ourselves, being confident in ourselves, putting ourselves out there, taking a risk to go after what it is that we want, that we desire, that we're passionate about, that our individualism is the key to making the collective better. We have to truly perfect and refine our individual talents, gifts, and abilities before we can contribute to society, to the greater, grander collective, and make a positive shift for the better. So, like I said, definitely dive into the August forecast where this full moon in Aquarius is concerned, because I definitely go more into detail. But basically at this 29th degree, the sun and the moon have this confrontation where the full moon peaks, and then we move into Piscean energy. We are going to have the majority of the day be in Piscean energy. This is going to feel very overwhelming. It is going to feel very intense. And the very first aspect that the moon in Pisces makes is with Venus, who is in her place of power in Libra. Now, Venus in Libra, she's trying to find a center point. She's trying to find peace amongst the chaos. She's trying to rebalance the scales in her personal relationships. Of course, she's been illuminated to a new passion, a new desire in her heart. She's also been illuminated to the new value, the new worth that she sees within herself, that she sees within her own gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. And of course, she wants to share that with her personal relationships and with the world. The moon in Pisces, though, really needs us to disconnect from the pressure of our physical realities that we've been very aware of as of late and float off into la la land just a bit in order to align with our intuition, our higher self, our calling, our meaning, our purpose that we've just been illuminated to in order to raise our vibration higher, recognizing that when we are in a good relationship with ourself, that we have the power to stand in our alignment and, of course, allow our cup to be filled up and flow over into our personal relationships. We are going to have a huge illumination on what it is that we need emotionally from the people that we're choosing to keep around in our life in order to feel like there is a balanced energy of give and take. Many of us have been pouring into cups that have not been holding the water, let alone pouring back into ours. And because of that, because of the full moon in Aquarius energy over the past month, we have disconnected from some relationships to pour that much energy and attention into the relationships that we know are of value and that we know pour into us the same way that we pour into them. The moon in Pisces goes ahead and has this little conversation with Uranus, who, as you know, is the ruler of this full moon energy. And this is really going to provide a lot of psychic insight, a lot of healing abilities, a lot of shift in perspective, a lot of shift in emotion. Again, Uranian energy is the great awakener, and we are being illuminated to a lot of new information, a lot of new revelations that are changing the way not only that we're looking at ourselves, that we're looking at the world in which we've created. Yes, This is a tipping point where we are breaking down to have major breakthroughs. We are essentially wrapping up the old cycles, wrapping up the old timelines and contracts in order to jump in wholeheartedly into creating the new realities, bringing them to life, seeing them actually physically manifest in our realms. So the moon in Pisces kind of gets this zap from this Uranian energy. This is like a shock, like, wow, I didn't even think of this before, or I haven't even felt like this before. It is a realization where it is that we have done some major healing work, where it is that we've had some major growth take place, and where it is that we get kind of zapped with this electricity to see in our inner realms where it is that we are feeling charged up now more than ever. Why? Because we're aligned with a higher source. We are in touch with our intuition. We've had a lot of powerful revelations over the last month with heart activations, exposing us to what it is that makes us happy, who makes us happy. And now we are on a quest to create a reality that allows more of what and who we love to infiltrate every single sector of our waking lives. So there's like this aha moment that comes through our inner knowing, our inner world, that validates for us that this is a time of change. Minutes, well, technically hours after the full moon, we actually move out of Leo season and move into Virgo season. I would recommend, again, you check out August's energy forecast, where I dive a little bit more into depth on what it is that we can expect from Virgo season. But basically, it's an earth energy. It is when we come back down to reality. It's when we get organized. It's when we come up with a plan. It is when we start fine-tuning the details of logic and practicality that we need to base our lives off of in order to create new systems, structures, foundations, and routines that not only are going to support our health and wellness by staying balanced and focused on what is important, but building foundations that are going to be long lasting enough and strong enough to actually house the new realities that we're bringing to life. It is a time of great manifestation, and Virgo energy is actually ruled over by Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane, which means that Virgo season provides us with a huge opportunity to bring our ideas to physical life. Everything that we've kept quiet about, everything that we've been debating on, everything that we've been just mulling over is in our inner realms. This is a time for us to actually bring what we've concluded, what we've agreed upon inside of ourselves into our physical reality. So we are going to feel a dramatic shift. It might actually feel tough for some of us because, we were flying high in Leo season with that fire energy, just burning a brand new hole in our hearts to follow our dreams and to be passionate and get excited about life again. And then now we have to get back down to business. If we're serious about the new dreams and the new visions that we've just kind of dreamt about and downloaded within our third eye, in our heart space, that we want to manifest, now we have to get a plan together. And that's what Virgo season is truly going to allow us to do. So the moon in Pisces goes ahead and squares the true node. As you know, the true node is our destiny point. It's trying to get us back on the path that is in alignment for where it is that we need to be. And the moon in Pisces, of course, is feeling everything, of course, is detached from this physical realm to concoct a new vision, a new dream, a new idea on what it is that we want to be doing for ourselves. Again, huge revelations coming in with this full moon energy, changing the script a little bit. And the square is a tension point. It literally provides us with an opportunity to reach a little bit of a crisis within ourselves. Maybe we're overwhelmed. We have more questions than answers. Maybe we're lacking information. Maybe our physical realms are so out of whack that we can't even trust the light at the end of the tunnel. What we feel to be true, what we feel is going to happen because of our connection to our intuition and higher self, sometimes might be kind of conflicted with what it is that we see happening in our physical realms. So this is kind of like a conversation between our emotions and the true node, trying to get us back on the right path, where we still need to sort through some information. We need to kind of push the boundaries of finding the research, asking the right questions, gaining the right answers in order to be totally informed. And that is what Virgo season is going to be all about, is making sure that we have all the information, all the details, all the possibilities in front of us so that we can make an informed decision on how it is that we're going to make moves and actually bring our dreams to life. Lastly, the moon in Pisces will be bumping into Venus. Venus, as you know, in her power in Libra, trying really hard to stop living in extremes, to stop either living in the heart space or in the mental plane, and to find a comfort zone in the middle. We definitely want to mediate. We want to compromise. And the moon in Pisces right now is bumping into Venus in Libra, just asking ourselves, where can we gain a solid footing? Where can we stabilize our emotions? Where can we ground our thoughts? Because things have been definitely out of whack. We've been through a lot of cosmic influences at this point that have really done a huge number on our mind, body, and soul, right? We've been in an adjustment period, leaving old contracts, not quite initiating the new ones. We've chosen one timeline over the other. Many of us are choosing to evolve instead of revolve, which means that now we have to reestablish a different balance within ourselves, between our heart and our head, between our expectations and what is actually realistic, and of course, what it is that we actually need in our lives to feel worthy, to feel stable, to feel connected. We want to do what's right, we want to do what's fair, but now we're really considering where it is that things haven't been fair, where things haven't been in our favor. And again, this might put us in a negative narrative in order to focus on all the things that went wrong, when realistically, this is being divinely scripted for us to focus on where we can step into our power, take control back, and make things start working in our favor. But first, we have to get balanced. We have to get grounded. We have to get centered. And unfortunately, the energy does not support this here today. We're wanting to, we're attempting to, we're analyzing where it is in our minds and in our heart space. We need to regain that balance and control. We're just not going to be able to find that steady place just yet.